What do you think about this t-shirt? Take a second and examine it. Some of you may not really like it and find the design quite odd. Some of you may like it and find it colorful and cheerful. The rest of you are probably thinking, what is she talking about? But while you're still looking at that t-shirt and see only a t-shirt, I see in it a great potential for the whole humanity. And I really hope that by the end of my talk, you will be able to see it too. I come from a small town in the north of Russia. And in Russia, we have a unique educational system. You're not allowed to choose any classes, and you have to learn all disciplines. You also go to school on Saturdays as an additional bonus. One of the most vivid memories I have from my primary school is an 8-year-old me sitting in my room alone, crying, and feeling complete despair. My mom walks in to calm me down, and the only question I'm asking her is whether there is something wrong with me personally, that I'm just unable to solve this big problem in my life. I'm 8 years old, and for the 4th time in a row, I have failed to pass a multiplication table test. Now, little did I know that I will learn the multiplication table eventually, and that I will have better and worse times in my academic career. But at that moment of my life, I could not understand why I have to learn these numbers, why they would not stay in my head, and most importantly, what value were they bringing to my life? This tickling question, why, has haunted me throughout all levels of my educational career, from that moment in primary school up until the finishing line of my bachelor's degree. Despite the fact that I love studying and learning new things, this moment of disconnection between the subject and the me has been consistently appearing every now and then. One of the classes I have mostly struggled during my high school, and I'm sure many of you can relate to that, was chemistry. I did not want to learn these really complicated formulas that we as 14-year-old kids in the 8th grade for some reason had to know. I did not want to learn it. I hated it. I hated the subject so much due to this lack of connection to the real world and to my world, and also due to feeling completely defeated in front of it when I could not memorize the formula. I felt that the discipline intimidating, just like in the 2nd grade with the multiplication table all over again, and that I could do nothing to contribute to that field. Therefore, I should not even try to pursue it. This feeling of intimidation changed for the first time when I was an exchange student in American high school and studied in North Syracuse, New York State for a year. On one of our chemistry classes, Professor Haley has assigned us to create our own tie-dye t-shirts. The purpose of the assignment was to show students how chemicals react and make it an interactive experience by allowing us to use our imagination. Not only did I not know what a tie-dye t-shirt is, but coming from a country with an extremely conservative educational background, I did not take the whole idea seriously, because coloring a t-shirt in chemistry class was so far away from memorizing these really complicated formulas. But I remember how excited everyone was that day. You could feel the atmosphere through the walls in the hallway. Our task was to bring plain white t-shirts to class, and the rest of the supplies, such as colors, bags, and rubber bands, were given to us at school. Everyone had a chance to create his own unique tie-dye t-shirt, and then proudly show it to his or her parents, or in my case, my American host parents. That creativity snippet had an amazing impact on my perception of the class. Not only I received this direct answer on how chemistry can be related to the real world and to my world, but I also felt that I finally could be the content creator in the class as well, and that I could contribute into that discipline. I have been studying chemistry for 5 years, and out of all 5 years, this is the only class I can remember. But the best thing is that I did not hate chemistry anymore. I felt that I could contribute to the discipline with the same right as the discipline could contribute into my personal growing. And it felt really great. As we progress through our educational path, we gradually become estranged to usage of creativity and imagination. And unfortunately, it could be seen in both Western and Eastern societies. Art and drawing suddenly become history of arts or arts of a certain region of the world. And if at the age of 7, we're still drawing and creating our own masterpieces, by the age of 17, we're only learning about other people who have been drawing their whole life and do not contribute our personal piece to it anymore. So I propose, when we go to university, we go back to being children again. Just imagine how many beautiful things can happen. Do you remember what you were doing when you were in kindergarten? You were playing and collaborating with your colleagues, with your fellow kindergartners. You were drawing and creating your own masterpieces you were so utterly proud of. But most importantly, you were not afraid to make mistakes, because at that point of your life, such a term did not even exist. And these qualities are extremely important to have in the modern world, because with the current pace of life and with jobs becoming obsolete, we just have to be able to adapt to these changes and not develop a tunnel vision that will search for one and only solution of a problem. But the main reason why I'm standing here today, defending creativity in education so much, is of course a personal one, because it helped me find my purpose and what I really want to be doing in life. I spent the first half of this year studying in the south of Netherlands as an exchange student. And one of the classes I've had was called Creativity and Personality, with Professor Monique Tsaip. This is the class where me and my fellow classmates, by the way, some of which were already receiving their second bachelor degree, became children again. The final product of the class was supposed to be our business concept, based solely on our personal experiences and our fascination in life. My fascination was water, and my final product was a water tour with visiting natural sites and meditation that help people cure depression. And it was based on how being close by the water and meditating has helped me personally overcome a really tough period in my life. So I spent many hours trying to process my memories and analyzing how they shaped me. The bottle that you can see on the screen was my creative invitation to a target person to visit my water tour. To pass that class, you not only had to run around town for 2 months trying to photograph your fascination, trying to make a collage, search for citations in the library, glue everything together, make a 3D interpretation. But most importantly, you needed to face yourself and ask yourself this question: what inspires me so much that I'm willing to run around town for 2 months trying to shape this concept? What is this driving force? What in my life moves me? And I answered that question 2 months later: helping other people. I suddenly understood that I wanted my job to be connected with helping other people and with inspiring them and with contributing into creating a better, a healthier, and most importantly, a happier society. Having struggled for years with what I want to be doing in my life and where I want to pour my energy and receive the inspiration back has been finally answered with one creative class. And that is the ultimate best thing that creativity in higher education can do for you. Help you find your purpose and what you really want to be doing in your life. So coming back to the t-shirt I have shown you at the very beginning of my talk. Some of you might have guessed that this is the t-shirt I had created in my chemistry class back in American high school. It still exists and I still wear it when I'm at home in Russia. I want to invite you to look at this t-shirt as a metaphor for our whole educational system, but look at it through 2 different lenses. The first lens is when I just purchased the t-shirt. It was still in the store, it was plain white, but it already had this useful purpose of being a clothing item and of keeping me warm. This is our education without creativity and imagination. Very valuable, very useful, but plain white. The second lens is when I added color and my personal design to it. And this is our educational system with creativity and imagination. Still keeping the same purpose and the same value and importance in our life, but also having our personal memories and contribution attached to it, and thus overall giving us so much more. Adding creativity and imagination into the educational system does not extract anything from the learning process, but apart from all the various benefits mentioned earlier today, it has one undefeated trait that nobody in the world will ever be able to contradict. It is simply more fun for everyone. Thank you.